Hi, now I'm going to try to show you a little bit of work with a different masking fluid, which is Peeble, a different color than from the Winsor Newton. I have my acrylic brush and I've got soapy water that I've dipped it in. Now I'm going to dip it into the Peeble and I'm going to paint the areas that I actually want to keep white. The reason I dipped it in first into the soapy water was so that my brush will not be too gummed up afterwards. Not that I'm worried about this particular acrylic brush, but it also helps to keep everything as clean and tidy as possible. Oops, I think I went over everything. Now I was also thinking of painting over some of the lighter Smarties so that I can do the background a little easier. And it's always more work when you have to do all this masking, but in the end, for fiddly stuff like this, it might be easier. As soon as you start trying to paint around and stuff, you usually end up, especially with darker colors, end up having a difficult time. So what I'm going to do, you can already see it's dry, which is great, is I'm going to paint over, I think the yellow one's here, and this yellow one here too. There's a yellow one up here. And I think I'll do the greens as well, because they're quite light. I'll do the blue here too, that's quite light too. I could lose a lot of the whites in there too. Everything else I think I'll leave. Yeah, well, there's that blue one here. Hold on. That'll be easier too for my painting around the brown there. Oh, maybe the orange one then too. See, it can get addictive, so be careful. Then all you want to do is use whiteout. Okay, I'm closing that up. I didn't shake it and everything. There's no bubbles. Now I'm going to go back in, put my brush into the soap, and it's all cleaned out now. You can make sure to feel to see if that's all gone, and it's all gone now. But I have to let it dry. So in the meantime, I just want to show you, because we were doing the other brown, and I just cleaned all my brushes and my water to get fresh water, and now I just need to show you what we would do here. So we come in and we put in the darker color now. It's a lot of water in my brush and not as much pigment. So just looking here. Now that's a bit brownish. I'm going to add a little bit more back in here, a little bit more red to get a little bit more milky chocolatey brown. And so basically it's just going around the edges here like that to try and get that smarty feel. Okay, and just back over here since I made those very dark. And they'll look darker once the masking fluid is taken off too. So don't worry about how dark you put it. If you put it dark like that, it might be a little too much. Okay. So let's get started here. I'm going to use a small brush. And I will use this small brush, and I need another small brush as well with a good point. And I just had all the small brushes here. Here they are. So there's a couple of different, like the rigger is lovely, but it's a little too thin for what I want. This stubby brush might just be a very helpful thing to have. And one other Winsor Newton, I think I'd like to try. I'll dab in another area here. Nope, wrong one. Yeah. This I believe is a 1, but has a fantastic hold on the water, and that'll be just enough between those 3 brushes. Okay, To begin with, I would like to try and do a bit of the background. This is still a bit wet, so the background I want to work on, because I think these are fairly dry now. I can work on the background here. Let's try that. So going back to my colors, there's some green at the base here and some white and some brown, and I didn't bother whiting that out, so I'll have to be very careful. Okay, so the green, here we go, here's the green. I'm going to start with putting the green in here. And I have to switch glasses in order to see a little bit better. And see if I can be quite accurate going along here with the green. There's a little blue face in there too with that. Okay, and comes around here. That's straight. And if there is just a hint of that green underneath here, you can't really see it that much. Okay. Now I'm just doing another layer because it's lightening up quite a bit. Alright. So we have that in place. There's some blue and things on there, but since I've got the green, are there any greens that I can actually do anything with at the moment? The only green I have that I could do is underneath here. So we'll start with that Smartie, kind of under the other two Smarties here. Okay. So now we can go, let's go to the Permanent Rose Smartie. Again, if you have too much water on your brush, you can always just dab it. Oh, that's way too much. Looking for my tissue here, and just dab it a bit. This is getting pretty wet. Let's try and just pull that around a bit. And now it needs to be lifted a little bit where you see a little bit of the white on that area, just above there. You can take some of that and put it back down below here. And we can darken that later like we did on the other one. Do we see any other pinks? No. That's red. That's red. So, or the red that we created before. So I need to come back in here and create some more of that red with a little bit of Hansa yellow. And now that's too orangey, but guess what? There's a perfect orange one to put right here. Let that dry. Oh, and there's, let's see, that's the green one. Oh, I put the, oh, there's a blue one there. You keep finding things that you don't see beforehand. Okay, I'm just going to add a bit more Permanent Rose to get it a little bit redder. Got it. Okay, so that goes down here. Right to the edge. And let's do this right around here too. Oops. Take your time, remember? Take your time. Okay, two of the things I see that I've got to deal with. First, I've got to lift a little bit because there's more white there than I had. So let's push that around a bit. Around there too. We lift a little bit more here. There we go. And definitely here has to be lifted out. And a little bit around. Okay, I've got one more over here. And it's quite dark on the side. It actually comes just around the box, believe it or not, down below the box. Okay. So it's a little darker there. And then as it comes up, and just by the 45 gram mark, it's a lot lighter. Just gonna bring it up there a bit. So I'm going to wash it off and then just carry some of that color that I need to pick up from here over here and just lightly put it around. Okay. Now we have the brown. How's this? Pretty good actually. So we wanted to make a nice orangey yellow to start off with. This color right here, yep. So we got it. So we can go right around and get started with that. If you do make a boo-boo, just even it out and don't worry about it. Don't think I can get any of that in. I think it's all filled up with masking fluid, but we'll try. And this will be a good opportunity for you to see too how the masking fluid comes off eventually too. Okay. I have to start putting some light in here. There we go. Keep working on this. Okay, so that's our golden color at the moment. I just noticed I forgot about the Nestle, and we did put the masking fluid in there. So let's try, because there's two things. Once we actually put the Nestle red over top, right over top everything here. If I didn't have the right amount of white underneath it, I can use a gel pen to go back in and actually fix that too, which is lovely. So we're just going to worry about getting our logo in the shape that we're supposed to. So we'll have a little point there. And maybe just a hint more red. It's a bit orange. And let's have a look at these just to see if we need to darken them at all. There was just a hint of red around the edge. And if you notice, I've hadn't had to use any other brush at the moment. This has actually handled it quite nicely. A little bit more here. Here a bit needs to be smooth. Oops, I went just a little too far, darn. Okay, and maybe just a hint there. Okay. Gonna try and keep it the right roundness too. Every time I keep doing that, I keep going out of the line. Okay. Oh, we have a purple here. Do I have any purple? Okay, I've got nice purple. Just have to be careful it's not too dark purple. So I'm going to clean that. And the way I can fix that, if it's not quite purple enough, is just add a bit of blue over top. So there's a little bit more of that white on that side, so let's try and move that off. There we go. And I'm not going to be able to put any orange in there. Oh yeah, well, we've covered that one. Oh, there's another purple one there. How cool is that? Okay, let's try and see if I can make it work. Oh, that looks too blue. Lift that a bit. Bring in a little bit more of the pinkiness to give it that more of a purpley pink. And push it back a bit. Hopefully I got enough of that white here. Get it right underneath there. Okay. We've got our orange. We need, that's a brown. Okay, and that's a brown. And there's the brown thing in here. Okay. Now we can also, is this one dry yet? It's actually dry. So let's get that brown. And start first with the logo down here. I did have a little bit of a brown line around it. Okay. So let's try our first Smartie here. Okay, and then we're going to bring in the other one, which is just down here. Okay, and there was another one somewhere over here. Oh, when it came over the edge of the box. Okay. That's good. So now let's put in the brown around the Smartie. We'll probably need to go over it once more with a little darker right along the edge there. Closer into the letter. But it's nice not having to be so worried about going around because it's all masked. Lovely. Okay, we'll let that dry. And I see that's a blue one. Okay, well that's going to work well because I'll do the blue first for all of the area. Great idea. And then I'll be dark blue underneath here. Now I'm noticing that I need to come in, and it's already starting to dry, so I can do some nice tones here. And there was a bit more of a dark around that area. And let's do that here. It was definitely darker around here. Over here too. And here was quite dark all over the top. And now, with just a little help of an extra phthalo blue to get that nice dark, I'm just remixing it because it's a bit too blue now. Now it's too green. I need to bring some of that red over. There we go. I want that kind of dark brown, which we will try and apply right on the edge. Not dark enough. I need a little bit more red. Okay. So all I'm doing is going right against the edge of this Smartie logo, hoping that it'll just get enough of that dark brown around. And once the masking fluid is removed, I'll probably do some touch-ups after that too. Okay. And eventually we'll probably do some, again, further highlights depending on where we need to do some darks. Okay. We're getting there. So let's do the light blue. And I'm going to take my larger brush, dab it down, get some of the phthalo, pop some phthalo in, and try and get it light enough. Okay, we'll start up here where there's a bit of dark, and then slowly go across here. Alright, and what I'll do is I'll come down to here too, because it needs to be darker anyways. Oh, I've got to be careful because I could use some of this for shadow, but I don't want to do too much. And I'm going to clean my brush because I've got way too much blue happening. And let's soften all this up. Okay, in actual fact, I can bring this down here very carefully, because we'll add in the darker blue afterwards. Okay. Oh, where's my blue? So there was a little darker blue around here. And up here. And over here. And then it was definitely darker all the way underneath here. Oh, even on, I'm going to just do these little flaps. Just be careful not to go over the colors too much because they will definitely bleed. Right. And let's go in here carefully. So hard to remember that there are these edges that you have to be ready for. Oops. See what I mean? Just have to know where they are. And that's a really light blue, so I can't go in there yet because my color is too dark. So I'll just finish over around here. And let's bring some dark right in there. And then there. I think we can actually go a little darker yet before I go really dark. Same here. Okay, now coming back here, that's just about right there. And now just watch the dark around the edges here. And I can come right up to here and here with a 45. Oh, and down here too. And then up into here. And up here for sure. Now having to watch for the banner because it's definitely darker underneath the banner. But try not to get now into the smartie part. Wow, hard. Okay, let's bring in some more of the, what I would call more of the darkish blue. And we'll go through here. It basically goes all the way around the brown up until just there. And we can do that part there in too. Okay, now this is pretty dark. And this is quite dark. And then there's just a little bit of light. And then it's nice and dark just under there. Coming around. And then it's, let's see here. Oh, there's a bit of shadow on that smartie. And then it changes to dark again here. I'm getting a lot of shadow and light going on here. Oh, you can't even see it anymore. Wow, it's changed quite a bit. Well, that's because it is... Never mind. Okay, so now let's bring in the blue here. And it's definitely bluish and darker down here. Definitely over here. Here. And just underneath the logo here. Okay. Tiny bits of blue up here. And more blue just in there. Oh, and that's a lot darker over this area here. And here. Kind of like it's floating in the clouds somehow. Definitely more dark around that area. And through here. And here. Oh, and underneath here. Here too. Okay. I'm finding it's a bit on the green side. So I'm going to help myself out, just get a little bit of another color that I have that I want, which is cobalt. And cobalt has just that blue that I'm looking for, and that way I don't have to worry about getting just the right blue in here. I wanted to try and keep it to 3 colors, but I see that I need to just brighten it up a bit. And cobalt will give me that rich blue that I'm looking for. Just going to add a bit more over here. Oh, and on the side of the box too. Wee bit up here and in here. And there was a little bit as a shadow underneath there, that area. Okay. That bled in a little bit. So let's see if I can fix that by just pushing it along here a bit. Okay. So now we have to wait for that completely to dry, and then I can take the masking fluid off and we can finish by adding the yellow and green Smarties like this one and some of the shadowing. I do see a bit of shadow in here, and while I have the color available, the brown can easily be made into gray by just adding some more blue. There we go, there's the gray. And I can add a bit of shadow right underneath the box. And easiest would be just to soften it up there. And I see more shadow on this side, so I'll do that. Put some shadow in here too. Okay, so hopefully that'll help to give you the illusion that it's not, that's more three-dimensional. Okay, now we just have to wait for it to dry.